Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of our lesson, The Angel and the Author. Let's quickly recall what we read in the first part. The author was rising towards the sky and could see London in the distance. Then he was flying high in the sky and was surrounded with darkness. Soon he saw a recording angel who seemed really exhausted. He said it was due to the workload around Christmas. The author then begins to talk about his feelings and charity around this time of year. Let us continue from where we left off in that conversation and hear the rest of the conversation between the author and the angel. "That book of yours," I said, "I suppose now it contains all the good actions that we men and women have been doing during the last 6 weeks. It was a bulky-looking volume." "Yes," he answered. "They were all recorded in the book." The author tells of his good deeds. It was more for the sake of talking of him than anything else that I kept up with him. I did not really doubt his care and conscientiousness, but it is always pleasant to chat about oneself. My 5-shilling subscription to the Daily Telegraph's 6-penny fund for the unemployed, got that down all right? I asked him. "Yes," he replied. "It was entered. As a matter of fact, now I come to think of it," I added, "it was 10 shillings altogether. They spelt my name wrong the first time." Both subscriptions had been entered, he told me. "Then I have been to 4 charity dinners," I reminded him. I forget what the particular charity was about. I know I suffered the next morning. He interrupted me with the assurance that my attendance had been noted. "Last week, I sent a dozen photographs of myself, signed, to a charity bazaar." He said that he remembered my doing so. And of course, you remember my performance of Talbot Champneys in Our Boys the week before last in aid of the Fund for Poor Curates. I went on. "I don't know whether you saw the notice in the Morning Post, but..." He again interrupted me to remark that what the Morning Post man said would be entered, one way or the other, to the critic of the Morning Post, and had nothing to do with me. "Of course not," I agreed. "And between ourselves, I don't think the charity got very much. Expenses, when you come to add refreshments and one thing and another, mount up. But I fancy they rather liked my Talbot Champneys." He replied that he had been present at the performance and had made his own report. I also reminded him of the 4 balcony seats I had taken for the monster show at His Majesty's in aid of the Fund for the Destitute British in Johannesburg. Not all the celebrated actors and actresses announced on the posters had appeared, but all had sent letters full of kindly wishes, and the others, all the celebrities one had never heard of, had turned up to a man. Still, on the whole, the show was well worth the money. There was nothing to grumble at. There were other noble deeds of mine. I could not remember them at the time in their entirety. I seem to have done a good many. But I did remember the rummage sale to which I sent all my old clothes, including a coat that had got mixed up with them by accident, and that I believe I could have worn again, and also the raffle I had joined for a motor car. The angel said I really need not be alarmed, that everything had been noted, together with other matters. I, maybe, had forgotten. The angel appears to have made a slight mistake. What an interesting end. Did you see that coming? Could you read the underlying intentions behind every act of charity that he so generously became a part of? This one instance in the story really shows the ulterior motive behind the author's acts of charity. I personally find this story to be quite an eye-opener and sort of like a reminder for myself. When I do a certain good deed, do I do it because I want to look good in front of other people? Or is it driven by my desire to please God? Think about that, and I will see you soon in our next video where we will learn more about the author and have a little discussion on the story.